We're in a 2015 Honda Odyssey. We're going to do a plug-and-play remote starter that activates from the OEM remote. Remote starting will be triggered by pressing lock 3 times. We're going to make 2 connections at the smart PCU located under the driver's side dash, approximately right here, straight back up high. Before we lower the smart PCU down so we can access the plugs, we're going to unplug this module that's bolted up just below the smart PCU. I'm going to give you a little reference of where we are. There's the diagnostic plug of the vehicle. Here's the steering shaft, and we're right at this module here. We're going to unplug this so that it's not in the way when we move the this module up here in the back, the smart PCU. We're going to remove this 10mm bolt, and we're just going to move this over to the side so we can access the plugs. We're going to use our 1/4-inch drive ratchet with a 10mm socket to loosen the bolt. Then we're just going to run the bolt out by hand. We're going to move the module over to the side. It's a little tight to get all the way out. We really don't have to. If you'd like to take it out, you can work it and get it out. We've just got it over to the side where we can access the plugs that we need to access. For video purposes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the 10mm bolt on the bracket for the module that we unplugged in the first couple of steps. I can't get a clear shot at the plugs you're going to be dealing with. You may be able to get to them without taking this bracket down and lowering the whole module, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. So we've removed the 10mm bolt, and our module is hanging here. I'm going to take this bracket right out. Now we have tons of room to access the plugs at our smart PCU module. We're going to be dealing with the small plug on the end and the plug in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unplug both plugs. Go ahead, we're going to unplug both plugs. There's a clip we're going to press in and pull the plugs out. We're going to plug our T-harness plugs in to the ports that we've unplugged. Clear video here. So we're going to plug into the center port with our blue plug. And we're going to make sure our plug locks in. And then we're going to plug into our other plug with our gray plug. Going to make sure that plug locks in. Now we're going to plug the plugs that we removed from the smart PCU unit into our T-harness ends. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in both plugs. We're going to make sure they lock. We'll plug in the smaller plug and we're going to make sure it locks. Now, our third plug is from the module that we disconnected because the cables were wrapped around each other and it would have been hard to move the smart PCU with that module plugged in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug this module back in. We don't want any adverse reactions here when we turn the ignition on. So we're going to begin programming our device. Begin programming or pairing our device, we're going to locate the program button on the top of the Evo. We're going to also locate the 6-pin power plug from our T-harness. We're going to press and hold the program button while we insert the 6-pin plug. When we do this, the lights on the front are going to begin to cycle We're going to release when we have a solid blue and a solid red LED lit. So we're holding the program button and we're going to insert the 6-pin plug. We're going to continue to hold until we have a solid red and a solid blue light. If we make a mistake, we can unplug the harness and redo the procedure. If we release on the wrong color, we can repeat the procedure. If we keep the button down, the lights will continue to cycle. If we miss our lights on the first round, we can wait till it comes around a second time and release. We're going to plug in our 20-pin plug into our device. Bit of a tangle here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug our 20-pin in. Going to make sure it locks in firmly. Now we're going to plug our red plug in. And we're going to plug our white plug in from our smaller harness. At this point, we're going to press and release the program button 3 times. 1, 2, 3. We're going to make sure we have the fob inside the vehicle. We're going to press the push to start button 2 times. We're not going to hold the brake as we do not want to start the engine. We just want to turn the ignition on. Our light's going to begin blinking yellow. Then it will go out. It will flash rapidly blue. At this point, we can press the push to start button to turn the ignition to the vehicle off. The red and yellow light will alternate, indicating that it's time to go to the computer and run the decryptor process to complete our key code programming. We're going to remove the plugs from our device. We're going to start with the red plug, the white plug, the 20-pin plug, and lastly, the power plug. The connector can be stubborn, very tight, so just pull from the connector and not the wires. If you've received either the FlashLink 4 programmer or the FlashLink Lite programmer, then your application will require the decryptor process to complete vehicle programming. The programmer connects to the computer with a USB cable, and then we have another cable that will connect to the device when we're ready to program or flash the device. Same thing applies to the FlashLink Lite. The FlashLink Lite is a miniaturized device that will perform limited flash functions on your module. Again, it has a USB cable that plugs into the computer, and then a cable that goes between the programmer and the module. To obtain the FlashLink Manager program, we're going to go to Fortin's website. We're going to go to www.ifar.ca. We're going to select the Software tab. We're going to click the Download link. Going to click the Download Now link, agree to the end user license, and we will open the setup. We're going to allow the app to make changes. I already have the program installed. You will continue on from this point and follow all of the prompts until the installation is complete. After completing the installation, if you choose to, you will have an icon on your desktop. Click on the icon or locate the program manually. Upon opening the program, you're going to come to a login screen. You will not be able to log in because you must set up a free account with Fortin before you can use the FlashLink Manager. Select Create an Account. You will fill out the form, this is the Create Account screen. A couple things that people were having issues with on this form is the business name. Right here where it says business name. You can put any business name in here, but it is a required field. It will also ask you for a website. You can put any website in here, but it is a required field. So if you don't have anything in this entry, you cannot submit the form. So just put any business name, any website you'd like. If you have a website, great, put yours in there. If you don't have a website or a business name, you can use anything you want. You can use WarmCarNow, and you can use the WarmCar website, www.warmcarnow.com. Click Save and continue on with the installation. After submitting the form, you will receive a confirmation email from Fortin. You must respond to this email. If you do not respond to the email, you will not be able to log into the program. When logging into the program for the first time, we want to select the proper mode. The program's default is what's called wizard mode. We need to get out of wizard mode immediately and switch to pro mode. In the upper right hand corner, there's a settings gear cog. We're going to click the settings gear cog. At this screen, you will have some settings for the zoom level, single click or double click, and language. What we want to do is we want to click go to pro mode. We're going to click continue to pro mode. This will make the screen match my videos. I don't do any programming in wizard mode. Everything I do is in pro mode. So this will bring you to the screen that you can follow in the video. We're going to plug our device in to our programmer. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug the device in. The updater is going to recognize the device and inspect it. And when it's done, it will load a screen that will give us the option to run the decryptor program. So I'm going to scroll down here, and I've already preloaded the firmware when you get it, so you don't have to do anything to the device before you install it. You just have to get to this point and follow this video and these instructions when you use my system. So we're going to select Decryptor. Now we're going to be given the option to transfer the key data. So we're going to select Send Data. Now we're going to make sure this box is checked, automatically update Evo 1 when ready. We're going to wait. And remember, you must have internet access and a Windows PC. Process time varies. Usually it takes a couple of minutes. The decryptor process usually will run between 2 and 4 minutes. This one probably took about 30 seconds. Our unit is being updated now. See, our flash link loader light is active. The firmware is being updated in our module. Okay. Our decryptor process is complete. We're going to reinstall the module in the vehicle. We're back at the vehicle, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug the module in. This time we're not going to hold any buttons. We're just going to plug in the power plug. We're going to plug in the 20-pin plug. We're going to plug in our red plug. And we're going to plug in the white plug. We're ready to test our device. We're going to trigger remote starting by locking the doors 3 times. This will trigger remote starting. The runtime is 15 minutes. We turn the ignition on so we can turn the wheel to remove the 2 Phillips screws on each side of the steering column cover plastic. At this point, we can go ahead and remove the cover by putting pressure on the seam and telescoping the wheel to the full outright position. And we can go ahead and we can take the top of the cover off and the bottom. This will give us access to be able to get to the parking light wire and the horn wire. We're dealing with 2 plugs for the horn and the parking light. They're on separate plugs. This is the horn plug. We're going to go ahead and unplug it. So the horn wire is on this plug here. It's the purple one on the corner pin right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we'll make a connection to that in a couple of minutes. I'm going to show you where the parking light plug is. Parking light plug is located right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to unplug the parking light plug. There's a clip on the bottom, and we're going to identify our parking light wire also. Okay, we're going to do our parking light connection. We're going to remove some of the tape so we have access to our wires. Now, looking at the plug from the back where the wires go in with a clip in the upright position, we're looking for the gray wire on the bottom row, located right here at the pin indicated in the instructions. So I'm trying to spread the wire so you get a really good view of the wire you're connecting to. So we have our black wire here on the corner pin. We're the next pin in on this small gray wire. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put a posi tap on this wire also. We can now run our parking light wire and our horn wire up from our device and terminate our connections. We're going to route our parking light and horn wire up the harness here that runs up to the steering column. So we'll use zip ties and we'll route the wires up, and then we'll bring them up and follow this harness all the way to the plugs we're going to be connecting to. So we're going to make our horn connection first. We're going to loosen the collar on our posi tap, insert our 1/4 inch of stripped wire into the tap, push it down firmly, and tighten the collar. Next, we're going to connect our parking lights. We're going to repeat the procedure. We're going to loosen the collar, the wire in, push it down till it bottoms out all the way, tighten up the collar. Ready to plug in the horn and the parking lights.